Thank you, Mr President. I beg to ask the Minister for Health and Social Care what strategies her department intends to bring forward in the next year to help progress the government strategy of ensuring people can live in their own homes for longer.
Minister to reply.
Mr President, my department has a number of key strategic plans in train which will support people to live in their own homes. Following an external review of the home care service, we will now increase the time for each home care visit so that we can maintain and improve service users' functional ability. This will lead to a corresponding reduction in the need to increase care packages and allow people to stay in their own homes for longer. We will change the focus of the service from carrying out tasks for people to helping people achieve agreed outcomes. Again, this will help people to stay in their own home for longer. In addition, my department is committed to introducing integrated intermediate care services, which will help people leave hospital earlier and remain independent longer. Based at Ramsey and District Cottage Hospital, this ambitious scheme will strengthen the island's ability to deliver care for older people who become unwell. Its aim is to help people either to remain in their own homes or to return home more quickly from hospital. Improving intermediate care is an exciting and significant development that will modernise how we deliver health and social care whilst improving outcomes for patients. And I will comment on this service in more detail in my response to a later question. My department continues to help people with the extremely successful reablement service, which offers short-term, intensive, home-based support focused on identified outcomes. Of the people who used the service in the first quarter of 2017, 91.6% of those aged 65 and over were still at home 91 days after their discharge from hospital to reablement services. And this compares favourably with the UK average of 82.7%. The proportion of older people being offered the service on discharge is also 2.1% higher than in the UK. In 2016-17, 313 people began using the reablement service. And we plan to increase the geographical range of the dementia care service from Douglas and the east to the whole of the island over the coming year. This service supports people living with dementia to stay in their own homes longer by providing both physical and social support. The department is in the process of commissioning a shared lives scheme which will support people with a learning disability to stay part of the community.
Supplementary, Mr Ashford.
Thank you, Mr President. Can I thank the Minister for the comprehensive answer? The Minister made reference to increasing the time for home care visits. Can I ask the Minister what is the current time limit in place and what is it being increased to?
Minister.
Thank you. The home care service currently delivers 700 hours of care per week, and this is supported by 300 hours of commissioned support through flexible funding from private providers. The dementia care service, which currently covers Douglas and the east of the island, recently advertised for additional workers to allow growth. Colleagues throughout health and social care are working to establish how intermediate care can be effectively and sustainably established to ensure people are supported to stay at home for longer. And this includes the plans for the Ramsey District and Cottage Hospital and how reablement can be used to support people effectively using short-term targeted outcomes-based intervention.
Supplementary, Mr Ashford. Thank you, Mr President, and apologies if I missed it there, but I asked the Minister in relation to what the time was, to which is the answer she gave, but what it's being increased to. And I didn't actually hear that part of the answer, Mr President. Could I ask the Minister again, what is it being increased to?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President. I think that would depend on each individual assessment, which will be what the needs of that person are.
Mr Speaker.
Thank you. In regards to this question and the next, I probably ought to declare an interest that I'm an unpaid director of Southern Befrienders, a Southern Live at Home scheme. With regards to the integrated intermediate service the Minister outlined, I think she said that that was going to be based at Ramsey Cottage Hospital. Could she just advise what steps are being taken to ensure that this doesn't turn into a postcode lottery only available to people in the north of the island?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President. My understanding is that the geriatric consultant will be responsible for assessing the people to go into the intermediate care beds that are being provided in Ramsey, but are available to everybody on the island.
Mr Ashford.
Thank you, Mr President. The Minister mentioned in her original answer about strengthening the integrated intermediate care services. Can I ask the Minister, are there any set timescales in place for that to be implemented, or is the Department still assessing that?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President. I'm sorry I don't have the timescales with me, but I'll happily get them and forward them.